fire. So let's turn our attention now to Wisconsin Penn State, because Wisconsin came into this match on a 20-match win streak. They were up 2 sets. They were up 21-18 in the third and wound up in a 5th set. How'd that happen?
Penn State wasn't going to give up. Penn State was not about to get swept, but they turned on their serving. Penn State had 10 service aces this match. They fully got Wisconsin out of system that 3rd and 4th set, but Wisconsin answered 23 blocks. The most since 2000. The Badgers were unmatched for that front line defense. And Kelly Sheffield said, this is what we've worked for all match, all week. He said, we are lethal at the front. His blockers timed. They waited. Robinson was so great on the right side against Williams. Everyone coming together and making sure they got that first row touch.
It was an unprecedented blocking night for Wisconsin. I guess the next natural question is, what do you think of the dynamic between Pitt and Wisconsin? Because they are the top 2 seeds in this region.
With Pittsburgh, we were talking about how it's going to be hard for them to beat Florida's blocking. And now they're facing Wisconsin. It's going to be another battle at the net. Can Wisconsin's block overtake Pittsburgh's very balanced offense?
Well, 2 incredible coaches will go at it on Saturday. Dan Fisher along with Kelly Sheffield. We're looking forward to seeing how it all unfolds. Again, it'll be Pitt and Wisconsin in the regional final in Madison Saturday night at 8 Eastern.
What a play.
We want to win games. We want to win championships.
What a swing with fury. Saved! My goodness. A little too hot to handle. Yes! Oh my word. Wow.
Nailed it. Blocked.
No distance too far, no mountain too high, no challenge too hard, can't stop us, this is who we are.
Well, that was This Is Who We Are, and now we're going to find out who the last is. One more spot available in the bracket. Stanford Cardinal, 9-time national champions, one of the 4 #1 seeds at home at Maples Pavilion, taking on the surprising Cougars out of the University of Houston, a #5 seed. What a year they have had at 30-3 and 19-1. Earlier this evening here at Stanford, it was all the San Diego Toreros, #2 seed, and they took out Kentucky in straight sets, and it wasn't close. San Diego was better in every phase of the game, and now the Toreros are moving on to a place they have never been, a regional final. Congratulations to them. They will take on either Stanford or Houston. Let's take a look at the bracket. Up top, #1 Texas, the other #1 seed in their region. Boy, did they look good. And Emily Londot and the Ohio State Buckeyes were superb in taking out another Big Ten team in the 2nd-seeded Minnesota Golden Gophers. Hi, everybody, and welcome. I'm Paul Sunderland, joined once again by my partner, former Florida Gator, Missy Whittemore. Your thoughts on the day, but maybe more specifically, and were you surprised at how, let's be honest, easily San Diego took out a very good team from Kentucky?
I don't know if surprised is the right word, but certainly impressed with what a complete performance we saw from San Diego. They had double-digit kills out of all of their pins, 13 combined between their middles. Gabby Blossom was masterful. As we talked about between the matches, size was important, but their size matched with their ball control and their athleticism was just too much for Kentucky.
Stanford again. Last year they got eliminated in the 2nd round. They are back where they are used to being, and they're used to having some of the nation's very, very best players, and they have one in the opposite in Kendall Kipp, the Conference Player of the Year.
Kipp is a special, special talent. She led the Stanford team all season long, but when the lights came on in the NCAA tournament, what did she do? She just got even better. Coming into this 3rd round, she already had 45 kills in the tournament, more than any other player after the first 2 rounds. You combine with Kipp the production that they get from their two left sides and Baird and Rubin and Cami Minor, who could arguably be the best setter in the country, and it's a pretty scary combination.
What a difference maker that Gabby Blossom was for San Diego, and Minor, last year's Freshman of the Year, has taken it up to another level. For Houston, they had to go 5 sets, not once but twice last week. And when was the last time? When was ever did we put a libero to highlight before the match? But Kate Georgiadis has become a national figure. Spent about 9 minutes, I'm exaggerating, on SportsCenter last night. This is a very, very good Houston team. Their coaching staff said they are expert in serve and receive, and that's a good place to start.
Yeah, and it starts with Kate Georgiadis and what she does for them in serve receive. You pair her with Abby Jackson. She's their do-it-all senior outside hitter. You're going to notice her big-time offense, but what you might not notice is what a great passer she is, and it's going to be so important for Houston to be in system in order for them to hang with Stanford. Also on the right side, keep your eyes on Elizabeth Toit. Interestingly, she played the last 3 seasons in the middle, has made the move to the right side where she has been very productive for the Cougars.
And how did Georgiadis become a cult figure in the last 72 hours? Well, take a look and you will understand why. This was last week in Omaha. Yep, there we go. The best part of this, well, pretty good landing, no doubt, but watch when she runs back on the court after this incredible play that's captured everybody's attention. Watch when she runs around. Watch now closely. She got a big smile on her face. That didn't bother her at all. And then eventually, and rightfully so, Houston won the point and obviously won the match. That's why they're here in the regional semifinals for the first time since 1994.
I spent some time chatting with Kate yesterday. I said, so how many bumps, bruises, scrapes do you have? And she said, really just this big bruise on my elbow. And it was substantial, but well worth it.
Well, you made a great point as well. She passes 54% perfect. So Stanford is going to want to avoid that. Transfer from TCU 2 times, Libero of the Year. Houston at 30-3 on the year. They were co-champs with UCF in the American Athletic. Stanford, winners of the Pac-12. Their only loss was at Oregon. Oregon, a dramatic advancing win over Nebraska earlier today. Stanford has won 20 in a row. There is Kendall Kipp. One more spot available, as it always is. This has been a very interesting day. Texas versus Ohio State. San Diego awaiting the winner. Oregon, Louisville, and Pittsburgh will take on Wisconsin, who also survived and advanced in 5 sets over Penn State. What do you look for here early, particularly from the underdog Houston Cougars?
Well, David Rear, the coach of the Cougars, said something to us yesterday, Paul, that we don't hear very often. He said we're excellent in the serve pass game. That is a hard place to be excellent, and they're going to need every bit of it against Stanford. And I think they're going to be challenged in ways they've never been challenged before in the serve pass game against Stanford.
Transition opportunity, slicing and dicing. Abby Jackson, 14 kills on 50 swings in their win over Auburn last week. David Rear, he's got a rare story. We'll tell it. We've got time. His 4th year, and boy, has he ever developed this program. A very, very delightful visit. Kendall Kipp, and Georgiadis missed a dig. She'd like to have that one back. Kevin Hambley came over from Illinois, and what has he done? Won a couple of national championships in his 6th year. Previous 19-11, 13-7, disappointing year for Stanford last when they were eliminated in the 2nd round. They did not compete in 2020. Cut shot off the right side. Pretty nice, comfortable start for Houston. That's a good look. That's number 8, Isabel Choate, who you talked about, the 6'1 grad, the transfer from Arkansas State.
Looks like Houston has found something early that they like. And it's that sharp cross, dropping it on the opposite side of the court. And as they told us, they were excellent in the serve pass phase, and they're proving it.
What a good, fun start. Playing with house money, we were told by David Rear. Started his career, he was an athletic trainer by education, and now he finds himself a volleyball coach in a Power 5 conference. And oh, look at this start. Number 25, Kellen Morin. She's the real size up front for Houston, the 6'4 sophomore out of Hickory, North Carolina.
A transfer from Virginia Tech, and they said that they specifically brought her in to upgrade size after they moved Toit to the right side. And we'll tell more about her transition to the right side, also an interesting story.
Fiona Ogilvie with a couple of digs. She is absolutely expert at the libero position. Countering Georgiades, she's wearing number 9 in the Cardinal jersey, supporting Kendall Kipp. Katie Baird will go back to serve. 6'3" redshirt junior out of Indianapolis. All Pac-12, second team All-American last year. And that ball drifts long. We might as well start with a conversation early, because Kevin Hambley, outstanding coach and very generous with his time, as all of the coaches have been, not only in the tournament but all season. He said to me yesterday, and I want to quote it, I'll get to it after this point. It was very interesting. Houston all over the soft shot. Rubin again on the left side, and that ball missed out of bounds. Kevin Hambley said, to us, there is no relationship between missed serves and winning. No relationship between missed serves and winning. I had to think about that one for a while. We could have had a long discussion, but the stats have buried it.
A lot of criticism of Stanford early in the season when they missed so many serves against both Florida and Nebraska, but interestingly, they won those matches. And that was Kevin Hambley's point. He said, you know, we came back after that, and we did not serve aggressively against Louisville.
There is Kate Georgiades. That's digging. One of the we saw some heavy hitting with San Diego over Kentucky, but Kendall Kipp can pound the ball. Back to Rubin, nice high flat shot. Leah Rubin, 6'1" freshman out of Brentwood, California, the state Gatorade Player of the Year, Pac-12 all-freshman team. And speaking of Pac-12 freshmen, how about Mimi Collier and the display she put on earlier today in that 5-set win over Nebraska?
Big-time double-double from the freshman. It was really good out of the back row as well as the front row.
Yeah, there's a touch. Really good start. Isabel Toit. 7 transfers on this Houston team. But what a start they have gotten off to. Annie Cook, 5'11", junior out of the Woodlands, just a suburb of Houston. Houston Cougars run a 6-2 system, and right now on top by 5. Rubin again, hard off the edge and out of bounds. Cortland Henderson, wearing the goggles, a 6'2 graduate out of Waco, Texas. She comes in along with Annie Cook. They're the double sub in the 6'2. Here is Kipp. We'll look at the service pressure. Well received. Sammy Francis, that's a big story, back in the lineup for the first time since October 23rd. And that ball hit out of bounds.
Obviously big news to have Francis back in the lineup, but it's been a while. As you mentioned the date there in October since she played. So will she be game ready, and how will she manage the load over the course of the match?
More on Francis, wearing number 17 in white on the overpass. Little confusion. Tammy Miner with the stuff. And very glad to have number 17, 6'6" sophomore out of San Diego, all Pac-12 freshman team. An undisclosed, non-athletic related illness or injury. She's missed the last 12 matches. She hits .394, and before she got hurt, she was the #1 blocker in the conference. So a very welcome sight for Cardinal fans.
Yeah, last time Sammy Francis played, the Stanford Cardinal hit over 600 against UNC.
What?
Yeah.
Wonderful to see this athlete back in the lineup. She transitioned from the right side into the middle, and what a good roll shot that time by Abby Jackson. Houston is hitting .364, Stanford 077. What a block. Helen Morin. Incredible start for Houston.
Interestingly, Morin, as a middle blocker, not even 1 block per set, so not huge numbers for her.
Forces the top-seeded Stanford Cardinal in this part of the bracket. Life before David Rare with the Houston Cougars volleyball team, not so much. 12 wins in 3 seasons total. His first year, they win 10 in conference. COVID year, they're 9-1. In 2021, 15-5, and this year, 19-1. He came to Houston from Arkansas State.
And for the first time ever, Houston with a 30-win season.
Over the top of the block. That's a really good swing by Katie Baird. I didn't think I would say this in the opening set, but what does Stanford have to do to turn this opening set around? Did I really say those words?
Yeah, it's interesting to come out and feel like Stanford's having to swing to match the intensity of what we're seeing from Houston, but interesting how you can control a match from the service line. And Houston right now creating some pressure.
Kelly Bellardi, 5'9", freshman out of Manhattan Beach, on to serve. Wow. Cortland Henderson threw a seam in the block.
This looks like it's going to be a difficult ball to swing at. First of all, the one-arm pass, the push from Cook. Looks like Henderson's going to be off the net. Maybe she'll roll shot this over. Not so much. What a swing.
Morgan Yonda, excuse me, Missy, the other setter, coming in, 5'2" senior out of Katy, Texas. Transfer from Sam Houston State, where she was 3 times all-conference. Nice play by Kemi Minor, number 2 in white. Setter of the year in the Pac-12. Yeah, they have been very, very solid, and they're going to be moving out of the American Athletic Conference into the Big 12 next year, and they'll have some company. BYU, Cincinnati. Ogilvie not there to get the tip. What are you seeing strategically at the offensive end from Houston that right now is giving Stanford absolute fits?
Tip shot over the block, and then that shot along the net to the opposite attacker, forcing these offensive players to have to play defense.
Good soft block. And a rejection. Georgiades not a very good set in transition. That was almost to the 3-meter line. She'd like to have that one back.
No room for Toit around that big kip block, as we see a nice close there as well from Vicini.
Stanford, the best blocking team in the Pac-12 conference this year at 2.7%. Baird again. Oh, that ball looked like it was down. Good hustle by the lines person. Sprinting down in front of us to make that good call in front of Ogilvie.
Absolutely. The players have worked hard to get here, and I would say the officials who are officiating at this level have worked hard as well. We've seen some nice calls so far here in this Stanford league.
Imagine if people are just tuning in and they're looking at Houston beating Stanford 14-8. Long way to go. Kendall Kipp. Stanford does have a few weapons. Like 5 of them.
And it starts at the pins, and it starts with Kendall Kipp, Pac-12 Player of the Year. She had 24 kills, a career high in their second round win over LSU. That was in 3 sets, by the way.
She was part of that 2019 team, so she's got a championship ring as well. Quickly to the outside. I'll tell you, this tipping strategy is really working. A magnificent job by David Rare and his staff to give his team a chance for the upset so far.
Yeah, how do they manage the big Stanford block? Well, they found a way to do it, and the jam shot into the middle of the court has scored.
Missy, question for you. Houston has hit or tipped 17 balls. It seems like they've tipped half of them or rolled.
Yeah.
Net violation, no argument offered up by Kennedy Warren, 6'1" grad out of Weatherford, Texas. Another transfer. If I had $1 for every time I said the word transfer this year.
It's not going away, the transfer portal. The question is, who uses it the best and manages their roster well? Obviously, the Gabby Blossom pickup for San Diego is looking like one of the best.
Yeah, along with others, Blackwell and Edwards. I know Blackwell came a couple of years before. But Brianna Edwards, a huge kill. You can watch San Diego play at 10 o'clock Eastern time against the winner of this match on Saturday. 16-10 lead. Look at the dig. Georgiadis, what else you got? Her ball control is really good as well. It's not all digging for show. That's going to be a net violation on Francis.
Stepping into the angle, and look at that. Putting it right on top of her setter, and then a swing from Abby Jackson off the block.
Have some other numbers on Georgiadis. Some of it has to do with the amount of workload. Rubin missed it out of bounds. Number 17 in the white libero jersey, last week in Omaha, had 56 digs. Now, they went 5, but that's a 5.6 average. I didn't go to Stanford, but even I can figure that out. Timeout is called by the Cardinal. 18-10 is the advantage. A stunner, absolute stunner, and brilliant execution by the visiting Cougars. Here's Saturday afternoon's college basketball doubleheader. North Carolina hosts Georgia Tech at 3:15 Eastern, then Jalen Wilson. And number 6 Kansas take on Missouri. Both games are on ESPN and the ESPN app. Back with Missy Whittemore, Paul Sunderland here at Stanford. Your thoughts, Missy, so far?
You know, you have to feel like maybe Houston has caught Stanford a little off guard here. You know, this is an opponent coming out of the American Conference, not a Power 5 conference. This is the only team in the tournament to advance who has played 5 sets in both the first and second round, so they haven't exactly dominated their opponent the way that we have seen Stanford dominate. And I think they just came out of the gates firing with nothing to lose. That was our question yesterday. They're playing with house money, but will they play loose? Will they play as though they have nothing to lose, or will they look a little tight on the big stage? And they certainly have come out very loose.
There you see their season record. Libero of the year is mentioned. David Rare, the coach of the year. Beat South Dakota 3-2, and then beat Auburn 3-2 to advance. They were the only team, and Coach Rare, who we visited with yesterday, said, look, we're the only team that had to travel. They're the only team to advance out of while being on the road. What a day of volleyball. It's my favorite time, and it's certainly favorite so far for the 5th-seeded Houston Cougars.
Yeah, interesting point, Paul, that they're the only non-host to advance, which could make you think they've had the least rest, but they certainly don't look that way.
Kendall Kipp rattles that ball through. One-on-one, you can't do that. Rachel Tullis, the 6'1" senior middle blocker wearing number 11 in black. You cannot leave Kendall Kipp one-on-one on the pipe.
And look at the wide blocking base. Houston will have to make an adjustment. That is one of the keys to defeating Stanford. Can you defend Kendall Kipp out of the back row? I don't think you can do it with one blocker.
Rubin, another nice kill. I'll tell you what, when Coach Rare said we are expert at serve and receive, I'm watching what Houston is doing, and they're killing lots of balls, but they're passing exceptionally well. He is just in the pressure cooker. He looks like he might roll over and fall asleep. Obviously, just kidding. He told me an interesting story. When he was at Arkansas State, his team was 29-2, and they qualified for the NCAA tournament up in Seattle against a bunch of really high-quality teams. Penn State was there, and he said, I felt personally like I didn't belong there in that company. I was wound so tight, I gave my team no chance whatsoever to perform well. Lesson learned. That ball hit out of bounds. Morin missed that. But another perfect pass by Georgiadis. 54% perfect pass so far on the season.
Yeah, very killable look there for Morin, and it has everything to do with, again, the way Houston is passing the ball.
Velarde, defensive specialist. And boy, the DSs and Liberos played a huge role for San Diego in that opening match. Baird looking high hands. That ball missed out of bounds. Solid shot inside the block, but just a little too wide for Baird.
Nice block closed there by Morin once again to her right, and then Georgiadis just in perfect position to allow that ball to travel out of bounds.
Stanford hits 290 on the year, number 1 in the Pac-12 conference as Yanda goes back to serve. They have 9 kills on 25 swings with 6 errors. 6 balls either blocked or hit out of bounds. Very uncharacteristic. There's, oh, what a block!
And I'll be the first to admit my mistake. I said I don't think you can defend her with one block, but Morin does it that time.
Well, it looks like it's by plan. Maybe they just want to dig around her. That was a brilliant block by Morin, and the second kill for Cami Minor.
Another good look for Minor, but if you're Stanford, I don't think you want your most effective attacker to be your setter.
You do not.
And right now,
you
they're
certainly do
trending
not.
that way.
Minor with 2 kills, Kendall Kipp with 5, Elia Rubin with 2. Katie Baird, 1 of 6, hitting negative with a couple of errors. Nice dig by Rubin. High flat, number 22 in white. Got to have that shot at this level of competition. Nicely done by Katie Baird.
Obviously, a lot of eyes on Kendall Kipp, but Coach Hambley told us this team is very aware of how much of a load Rubin and Baird carry, and that was a great example of the transition dig by Rubin and the finish by Baird.
Jackson looking to roll up into the block. Smart shot, smart attempt, good thought process, just better play. You tip your hat to Stanford.
Yeah, and the first pass miss there by Houston as they were out of system.
Really good call. That was one of the first really difficult swings that Houston had to take. Timeout called by the Cougars, leading 21-16. They have led throughout and are beautifully prepared, and they're executing the game plan.
It's one thing to have the right game plan and a whole nother to execute it on the big stage, and that's what the Cougs are doing right now.
Well, for Stanford, what a history. I mean, is there any better? Every tournament except one, and that was by choice in the COVID year in 2020. 9-time national champions. The most recent streak, 2016, 2018, 2019. Regional semifinal, 36th time. Tip your hat to Texas, who after they advanced today, but previously had gone to 17 straight regional semifinals, and they beat a very, very good team from Marquette today. Pretty handily. 23 national semifinals, 17 times to the championship match. Wow. Don Shaw, John Dunning, and now Kevin Hamblin.
And you wondered how Houston would feel paired up against a team with that pedigree here in the regional semifinals, and Houston seems to feel just fine about it.
Good rotation for Stanford with Cami Minor. Piccini up front, who we haven't heard much from, the other middle blocker opposite Francis, along with Kendall Kipp and Katie Baird. Minor is a really good server. Ogilvy all over that. And then Kendall Kipp will finish the deal. All the momentum right now wearing white with the exception of the libero.
And Ogilvy with one of the more graceful dives you'll ever see, as she tends to have a knack for making the hard plays look really
Absolutely. She is incredibly smooth, incredibly accomplished. Ace serve. Does Houston burn their second timeout here, or do you wait?
I think you give it one more point here. Interestingly, Cami Minor going right at perhaps the 2 best passers on Houston, but she's doing a great job of splitting them, making them have to make a step or two and communicate to pass that ball.
What a clutch pass that time, and kill out of the middle by Morin.
And because Isabel Toy had played in the middle for the previous 3 seasons, she's able to run a quick attack there on serve receive, which is exactly what she does. Coach Rear told us that they actually were using Toy on the right side in practice in order to improve their defense against the right side, which they thought was a real point of emphasis for them in the offseason. And they realized how good Toy was over there and made her move to the right side.
Yonda going right, good block deflection. Kipp again, no, this time to the middle of Piccini with a kill, number 14 in white. If nothing else, after Stanford was down by such a wide margin, they have really gathered some energy. They've gotten the crowd back in this building, irrespective of what happens to close out this set. Stanford is now in the fight.
And Cami Minor, you get so much production from the pins of Stanford, but in transition, she knows when to find Piccini and when she can get those points out of the middle.
Sharp angle, missed out of bounds. Got to be thinking about it. Stanford on an 8-1 run to get right back into this. Baird will continue to serve. They really like going from area 1 to area 1. This time down the line, good pass. And rejected.
We saw the tip strategy for Houston working early on, but it seems as though Stanford has found a way to defend that. And even though Vicini looks to be late, the hang time allows her to score there.
Back with more from Stanford right after this.
We're on the extra T's on that thing.
Number 1 seed Stanford Cardinal on a 9-2 run. Houston led it 20-12. Now we've got a real contest, make no mistake. Baird back at the line. Minor did some real work also from the service line. Baird has been going from area 1 service error down the line, working on number 4 Kennedy Warren, who's the left front attacker. The only thing that matters right now is the scoreboard. What's happened before is ancient history. Houston was near perfect. Their rolling and tipping strategy worked to perfection. That is in the rearview mirror. Gone. Oh, look at Ogilvy. What a read. And Kendall Kipp with a finish. Libero Nirvana.
Here it is again, Ogilvy, look at that. A clean look from Warren that you thought for sure would be a kill. Not only does Ogilvy play it up, but plays it right into the setter's hands.
Houston is challenging. Elena Ogilvy wearing the Libero jersey for the Stanford Cardinal. Again, if you weren't with us at the top, she was the Pac-12 Libero of the Year. Out of Honolulu. Played in the under-21 World Championships, was number 1 in digs, but just what an incredible read on that particular play. Challenging a net violation against the Stanford Cardinal.
The original call is no net violation, and the point to Stanford, but Houston is challenging a net violation against the Cardinal. We'll take another look here.
Nope, don't see anything there. Remember early on, Houston was hitting 357 and Stanford was hitting 083. Right now they're both hitting 212. Really incredible turnaround by the Cardinal.
The press of Kendall Kipp over the net, and I can see where sitting you might think that she had to have been in the net to get that sort of press, but that's just the athlete she is.
Well, 6'5", a magnificent athlete. She often doesn't look like she's that tall, but because she moves so beautifully. And the bad news for everybody in the volleyball world, all the starters for Stanford are going to utilize their COVID year and come back next year. All of them. Yeah, ball stays with Stanford. David Rare knows how absolutely, this is must-have. After the lead, I think he used that challenge as a timeout.
Absolutely.
Because he did not have any left. Smart. Well, Houston, if they're excellent in serve receive, have to be that now, and they're not.
The serving run from Cami Minor seemed to turn the tide, and Katie Baird trying to finish it off.
Kipp with the fister. First lead of the night for Stanford. I didn't think I'd say that either. And that ball drifts just out. Tied at 23.
A mistake, we might say, from Stanford gives Houston life, but Coach Hambley would not consider that a mistake.
No, he doesn't care. Serve tough every time. That's a lollipop. That's nothing. You're going to pay. Poor set that time by Miner. That was too close. Good adjustment by Stanford on all the off speed. Perfect set by Ogilvy.
And you said it, Paul, it was a missed serve from Stanford that gave Houston life, but then an easy serve from Houston in response, maybe trying not to miss, and just not enough on that ball to force Stanford out of system, and they felt like they were in control of that point from the get-go.
Set point number 1. Nice reaction on the overpass. Well done by the Cougars. That's number 11, Rachel Tullis. So 1 set point save by the 5th-seeded Cougars.
What a solid career Tullis has had for the Cougars, a 4-time American All-Conference selection.
One of the 2 setters, Annie Cook. Big numbers, 36 aces on the year. Boy, could they use one now. Perfect pass. Francis at 6'6". You've got to keep that dig on your side of the net. You can't make that mistake.
And 3 recent points have come by way of overpass, 2 of them going in the favor of Stanford.
See the numbers, they tell the story. Set point number 2.
Here it comes again. Cook just has to go get it. It is a beautiful swing from Houston and an even better save from Rubin.
Tammy Miner started the comeback, and then she finished it. Stanford gets off the deck to win the opening set.
NCAA consent is prohibited.
Back at Stanford, the final spot in the regional final round about to be decided. Stanford on a 13-4 run, trailed 20-12, came back to take the opening set over Houston. Didn't think I would say that, but Stanford won the opening set. Early on, the Cougars were absolutely brilliant and tactical.
All Houston with some really nice passing and a game plan that was executed to perfection. The tip strategy early on, roll shots, tip shots, had the Cardinal on the ropes, but as you would expect, a veteran team like Stanford makes the adjustment, and those balls that were falling early were not falling late in that set, and Kendall Kipp comes through for the Cardinal once again. She had 9 kills in the first set alone, hitting .412 so far in this one, and you see the close step, goes up and gets it, says thank you on that overpass, and down the line, a comeback by the Cardinal, unexpected, and here they are, leading 1-0.
And Miner, again, who started it from the service line and finished it on the attack, starts things off here for the Stanford Cardinal. That ball off of Baird and out of bounds. Kellen Morin was really good in the opening set. And some numbers about the turnaround. Stanford started 8 of 19 with 6 errors, hitting under 100. They finish 10 of 20 with 1 error, thus the 13-4 run. Out of system, no problem.
And why is it no problem? Because it's Tammy Miner on second contact from deep in the court near right back. She places a beautiful ball up into left front, and Kendall Kipp with the finish.
Stanford 26-4 on the year, won the Pac-12 championship again. Their only loss was at Oregon. They've won 20 in a row since. Look how easy Ogilvy makes the game look. And Rubin. Elliot Rubin, number 13 in white. Well, volleyball royalty, three-time Olympic champion Karch Kirai, next to him Royal as well, Marv Dunphy. And Karch Kirai here is the head coach of the women's Olympic team. And I guarantee you one of the players, he's looking at several, but one of them for certain is Kendall Kipp wearing number 10 for Stanford. There's Marv Dunphy, 5 times a national champion at Pepperdine, and was Karch Kirai's coach at the 1988 Olympics in Seoul, South Korea, when Karch, Steve Timmons et al., Jeff Stork, so many others, Scott Fortune, Bob Stavertlet, when they won their second straight Olympic gold medal.
And of course, Marv's daughter, Alex, on staff here at Stanford, and credited with a lot of the work with Cami Minor to turn her into the fantastic setter that she has become.
Cami Minor is really elite, make no question about that. There is Marv Dunphy. Not only won the gold medal in 1988, backing up the victory in 1984. Karch, I mentioned, he was the 3-time Olympic champion. He won the first ever beach volleyball Olympic Games with Kent Steffes in 1996. Tight set. Look at the dig by Minor. And now Kendall Kipp returning the favor. And one of the things Kevin Handley told us that makes Cami Minor unique, athletic, great hands, but comes in the gym every day trying to get better, so dedicated to her craft.
Yeah, he said never takes a day off. And when one of the best players in your gym shows up with that attitude, that's contagious.
Soft block, but out of bounds. Coach Kirai is also looking at Cami Minor along with Elena Ogilvie. Make no mistake about that. And he's focused. He's not here for, even though we had a very nice dinner last night and we both had a nice piece of fish. He is here working. He was watching all the practices with us yesterday. One of his assistants, Aaron Virtue, was in Madison, Wisconsin, doing exactly the same thing. Kendall Kipp off the block and out of bounds. Stanford rolling. Remember, they trailed 20-12. Take us to Houston's side.
Yeah, Houston gave them everything they could handle early, and I think you have to credit Houston for raising Stanford's level of play. We didn't think they would say that, and yet that has been the case in this match. Back to the tip strategy for Houston.
Baird ripping out of the pipe. Kendall Kipp is not the only back row weapon. Rubin can, Baird can.
So productive, these 3 pins.
Stanford is hitting 375. The first 15 minutes of the opening set, they were hitting below 100.
And when you pair those 3 pins, Paul, with Sammy Francis back in the lineup.
Nice serve.
It takes this Stanford team to the next level. Ogilvie just drops one on the back line.
Stanford worked an awful lot on serving yesterday, 3 different times in their practice. Another service ace. That's numbers 20 and 21 for Ogilvie. Timeout, Houston. Stanford, their attention is on point. Coverage of the Division I Women's Volleyball Championship continues on Saturday, starting at 4 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPNU. For more information on match times and listings, visit NCAA.com, home for all 90 NCAA championships. What a complete turnaround. Dug by Georgiades. We'll give you the numbers on this run by the Cardinal. Back to the middle, no, back to Kendall Kipp. Why not? The score was 20-12 Houston. Since then, Kipp and Stanford have outscored the Cougars 24-5. Kipp now with a dozen kills.
And Houston on the match, the entire team, 16 kills to Kipp's 12. Excuse me, 13 now, as that last one registers.
That ball rattles through for Kennedy Warren. You know, as shocked as Stanford was early on in this match, Houston must be absolutely shell-shocked right now.
Yeah, I think equally shocked, as Stanford has certainly had to rise to the level of play, and they have done so.
Good pass by Rubin. Oh, better block. Cortland Henderson basically one-on-one against Rubin.
Cami Minor just pushes a beautiful ball to the left side that creates a huge one-on-one opportunity, and Rubin would certainly like to have that one back.
Really good blocking, reach, and move by Henderson. Working on Rubin right now. Tight, very tight. A setting mistake in Kennedy Warren, trying to tip very, very short, couldn't get it done.
It's the strategy we saw early in set one that worked so well. As Rubin is drifting off the net, they try to send a short ball along the net there. They've had success with that.
Gotta watch for Kip out of the back row. Georgiades' perfect pass. I'll tell you, offensively, Cortland Henderson, wearing number 9 in black for Houston. She's blocked balls with 6'2" grad out of Waco, Texas.
It's all about the perfect pass. In
Yep.
system, Sammy Francis, no chance of closing there.
Exactly right. Houston needs to go unconscious passing-wise for about an hour.
Easier said than done against the Stanford serve, because Houston is a very, very elite passing team, and yet I don't think they've been challenged this season the way they've been challenged so far here tonight.
Look at that pass. That serve was really tough. And Cortland Henderson, I know you can't do it on the fly, but I would go to a 5-1. I'd keep her in 6 rotations and set her every time. Even
Set her out of the back row as well.
Absolutely.
Look at that driving serve, and you just see Kennedy Warren step in there and cut that off between Warren, Jackson, and Georgiades. They pretty much have that pass locked down.
2 blockers this time. Good adjustment.
Tighter base.
Baird. So many weapons. We saw the weapons of Texas earlier. The weapons led by Emily London, along with Gabby Gonzalez for Ohio State. Wisconsin is loaded. Man, it's been a really, really good day.
And frustrating for Houston, because both Baird and Kendall Kipp have that ability to go up and over the block.
They serve. Kelly Velarde coming on.
That is so hard to do, to come in as a serving specialist off the bench, cold, so much pressure for you to make an impact in this one area of the game. Well, what's Velarde do? Serves up an ace.
Shauna Brown, backup libero, on to shore up the passing for Houston. Henderson, not this time against Baird. I know the tip has worked, but every time you swung at the ball, you put it to the floor. I don't know about that choice, but easier. It's pretty easy where I'm sitting.
And I think she gave the tip away. Baird saw that coming.
Rubin special at the defensive end. That was a really good swing by Baird. Really good swing. Just a few centimeters long.
Face and angle, cross body down the line there.
Morgan Yonda. 3 times all conference is mentioned at Sam Houston State before coming over to Houston. First tournament appearance for the Cougars since 2000. These are the plays that Houston has to have. Man, Ogilvie is so calm. Baird going high hands. Perfect set by Elena Ogilvie.
And Houston forces Minor to make first contact, doesn't allow her to set the ball, but Ogilvie just cleans it up. Steps in, really nice secondary setting you'll see here from the libero as she puts it nice and high up at the net for Baird to take a rip at.
Expert swing.
Minor, certainly a star in the making.
I would certainly agree with that. Kendall Kipp, Georgiades. Back to Kipp again. Free ball for Stanford. Perfect contact.
And again, Paul, the majority of the offense for Stanford, of course, comes from those pins. But Cami Minor in transition knows how to find her middles. They get just enough out of the middle to keep this offense so well-rounded and so hard to defend.
Stanford was ahead in that point almost the entire time, and it took them a couple of swings. Heavy arm of Kellen Morin. She, along with Henderson, since that wonderful start, have been the offense for Houston. 17-9 is the advantage now for Stanford. I don't think you want to serve Ogilvy that easy. Maybe never.
Yeah, can't afford that at all. This is a free ball for Ogilvy, and again, Minor finding Vicini, heating up the middle a little.
The winner gets the San Diego Toreros, a very impressive 3-0 victory earlier this evening right here over Kentucky. Oh, what a block! Welcome back to the dance.
This team's just a little different with Sammy Francis on the floor as you see her diving to her right to cut this ball off. That's a big-time block.
And since she left the lineup back on October 23rd, 12 matches ago, I'll finish the thought in a moment. Good quick set to the outside. But lastly on Francis, missed 12 matches. When we spoke with Coach Hambley, he said not only is she not practicing, she hasn't done much physically. She practiced for the first time since October 23rd yesterday and was cleared to play earlier this evening.
Yeah, just a little work on the bike, he said. So obviously her conditioning over the course of these next several days will be important.
One-on-one again. That ball missed out of bounds.
Ogilvy gave him every opportunity with that transition dig.
The dig numbers 29 now for Stanford. Ogilvy leading. Elia Rubin has 8. Ogilvy with 12, 24 digs for Houston. Oh, what a block! Right back at you. Rachel Tullis.
This is a Houston team who will be something to contend with in the Big 12. Plays with a whole lot of moxie.
Again, working on Rubin. And Kendall Kipp getting him out of trouble. If you're the opposite, you got to do a lot of trash disposal. Getting my team out of trouble, taking out the trash. 20-12 is the advantage. I remember another score of 20-12. That was with Houston leading in the opening set.
Yes, I remember that as well.
Good touch by Francis. Stanford a little slow to react. Good high, hard swing. Nicely done by Kennedy Warren. Warren now with 6 kills on 18 swings. Houston hitting 190, Stanford 299.
Yeah, interesting. In both tournament matches prior to this one, it's been Warren who's led the team in kills. So she's had a really nice tournament showing.
17 of 41 against Auburn. Working on Rubin, but very good first contact. And what a magnificent swing. Why do teams really want to try to serve the left front attacker when she's also in receive?
Just trying to overload them, see if they can make them a little uncomfortable. But as you said, working on Rubin, but with very little success. And I'd be surprised if they go back to that her next trip across the front row, because she handled those serves quite well.
Legal play right on top of the tape. Tullis going up to tap that ball down, number 11 in black, 6'1" senior out of Lantana, Texas. Hits .351 on the year for David Rare.
And just over 1 block per set at 1.1 actually leads this team. So no single individual with real big block numbers.
That was a really, really good pass off a tough serve. Beautifully done by Ogilvie.
And Minor, who realized has not played a lot with Sammy Francis over the last month and a half, finds her middle quite easily behind.
Ogilvie is so soft and so subtle in all of her movements. Wow. Super impressed. Nice stab by Velarde. That's going to be a net violation against Houston. Stanford 2 points away.
Velarde with an absolutely elite dig there, and we've seen her have an impact on this second set.
Ball served just out of bounds. Has some connection here to the Stanford Cardinal. Her father swam here, another elite Olympic sport program for Stanford. He was in the 76 and 80 Olympic trials. Number 7 in white, 23-15. Kip leading the way, 14 kills. She's even upped her efficiency now at 444. Off the top of the block. Set points now for Stanford. Nice offense, really good comeback. Toit on the gap set.
And Toit gives them so many options. Played in the middle the last 3 seasons, so in serve receive with as well as Houston is able to pass the ball, it gives them a double quick opportunity.
Set point number 2. Here is Abby Jackson. 56 aces on the year. See ya! All started. I know that Houston hangs their hat on serve and receive. Stanford's pretty good in that phase as well.
When you need a point to finish a set, who do you find? Kendall Kipp, as you see, going up. Vicini holds that block, and Kendall Kipp puts it away. Stanford up 2-0.
Week at ESPN, when we partner with the V Foundation to highlight the urgent need for cancer research. This is game-changing research that helps save lives. You can join the fight against cancer by visiting v.org/donate. 100% of your donation will go directly to cancer research. Without saying, a very, very worthy cause. Back with Misty Whittemore, I'm Paul Sunderland. And what a turnaround. The Stanford Cardinal look like a #1 seed. They look like a team now that compete for a national championship. They did not about an hour and 10 minutes ago. What a turnaround. How do you explain it and how do you describe it?
It's a slow start for Stanford, maybe taking their opponent for granted, and a really nice start for Houston. I think you have to give credit where credit is due. They came out and executed their game plan. You know, but after the slow start, Stanford has gained speed and, as you said, really steamrolled through that second set.
Well, right now they've outscored Houston 39-19 since they trailed 20-12. And, you know, the tournament, this is obviously a wonderful day for sports fans and volleyball fans. So let's take you around the bracket. This is the upper right-hand corner, the #2 overall seed, Wisconsin Badgers. They'll take on the Pitt Panthers, who tied for the conference win against the Louisville Cardinals. They were the #3 overall seed. The match of the day, no question, Oregon survived against Nebraska, fighting off 4 match points. And our side of the bracket, take us through it, Missy.
Well, you see Texas there with the 3-1 over Marquette. It seemed as though Texas just took their foot off the gas in that third set, but steamed back in set 4 to look as dominant as we expect. And Ohio State, maybe a monkey off their back as they finally advance past that round of 16 into the regional semifinal for the first time under Jen Flynn Oldenburg, and that will be a fantastic matchup tomorrow as Ohio State dropped some matches late in the season, but certainly looks to be in top form right now.
Well, the Buckeyes limped into the tournament. They limp no more, and there's no limping, nothing limp at all about Kendall Kipp leading the way with 15 kills already.
And as we look at that bracket, we know that San Diego awaits the winner of this one, and Kendall Kipp doing everything she can to make sure it's Stanford who will have that opportunity to defend their home court. She has 15 kills after just 2 sets, hitting .464, just doing Kendall Kipp kind of things.
And all congratulations once again to Jen Petrie in her 24th year as head coach at the University of San Diego, making it to 5 times they've been to the regional semifinals. This is the first time ever they've advanced to a regional final. They get the winner of this, and it certainly right now looks like Stanford. You know, that was a pretty darn good pass by Rubin, because that was served in the Bungo Straits over on the left side short. You know where the Bungo Straits are, don't you? It's in the South Pacific.
Yes.
Shark infested. It's not good.
Not good at all. And somehow Stanford saves it.
Look at Cami Minor come flying in. Look, it's early in this set, but I want to talk about it. We saw Gabby Blossom. We're seeing Cami Minor. Who's on your list of the best setters in the country, or maybe still in the tournament?
Well, those two for sure are on the list, maybe the top of the list. And I think that, you know, we are absolutely going to have, if those two are to pair against one another, one of the best setting matchups in the country. But I think you have to add to that list Pedraza. Matt Pedraza, we just saw Ohio State has advanced. Lothero there at Louisville as they have advanced. I think all of those names deserve to be in that conversation.
I agree with all of that, and I would add to the list Sage Ka'aina Torres. I've been on the fence about Ka'aina Torres. And just because I don't go to Austin the way I used to, and I used to see Texas all the time. But I watched that match today, and I thought that she was fabulous, along with the Littles and, of course, Zoe Fleck, twice the Pac-12 Libero of the Year, now coming over to solidify the defense. And Emma Halter, don't underestimate or don't undersell the importance of Emma Halter as a defensive specialist for Texas. Just underway here in the third. Really good speed and rhythm to the outside. We saw that from Blossom in the first match. We're seeing it from Cami Minor here in the second.
Yeah, this is all about tempo. Cami Minor finds the middle there on a quick set away, and then goes back to the gap. And look, the defense for Houston getting confused there. The middle trying to shadow Vicini, and that opens things up on the outside for Rubin.
Smart play by Kipp. Stanford was completely discombobulated, so to solve things, just sent it over, and Houston took advantage of the free ball. David Rare, the AAC Coach of the Year. Houston comes in as a number 5 seed, 30-3 overall, 19-1 in conference.
Teams sort of feeling each other out again here to start set 3, and Houston early in this one has gone back to some of that tip strategy as we tried to see them try to find some openings in the center of the court. That's what gave them so much success early in set 1. If you're just joining us, it was all Houston early in set 1 before Stanford came roaring back and now leads this one 2-0.
For a while, Stanford took the fight away from Houston. It's not that Houston's fight was gone. Stanford took it away, and now it's back. Stanford's road to get to this stage, they beat Pepperdine 3-1. They won the first 2 sets pretty easily, and then Pepperdine came back, and then they beat LSU 3-0. When Kendall Kipp looking at her numbers from that particular match, really put on a show. 24 kills against LSU.
And I like to remind people that was 3 sets.
Yeah, exactly. I knew I'd written it down. I just couldn't find it. I got too many chicken scratches. Off the edge of the block and out of bounds. Ball set too low. Minor not able to get there, in a good reaction by Abby Jackson. You know, we showed all the brackets. I want you to make some picks. Wisconsin, Pittsburgh, Oregon, Louisville, Texas, Ohio State. There it is.
I know. I think at this point, you know, because there's not predetermined sites, I think the host schools have a big advantage. There's some schools that draw really good numbers, and I think the home sites are going to have a big advantage in those matchups. Now here, in this particular facility, not quite as many fans, and so will San Diego not feel that pressure that perhaps some of those other schools will feel?
I didn't hear any picks in there.
I'm going with the home schools.
Okay. I got you now. You just needed to translate for me. But you know, and the people who run volleyball in the NCAA, they deserve some congratulations. I thought the committee did a wonderful job, but also in building in a day off. Because you look at some of the, especially like Oregon with Mimi Collier, I think she took 71 swings. I mean, she deserves a day off.
Yeah.
Nice cover, ball still alive. Baird going right over the top. There's no defense for that.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. Like Kip, she is one of those momentum killers, because how do you defend the player who goes up and over? Just no defense for Baird and Kip at times.
I'm still going to put pressure on you, Missy, but not till after this point.
Okay.
That is really a quality swing. Number 8, Isabel Toit, transfer from Arkansas State, the previous home of David Rare. Obviously, too many years gone by, they did not play. So, if you had $100 to buy a ticket, which of these now regional finals would you want to? Where do you want to be?
Aside from right where we are, because I think ours is the best.
Well, we're going to be here no matter what.
If I'm watching only one other than this one, I think I want to see Texas, Ohio State.
Texas looked really, really good. Logan Eggleston. I talked about Aina Torres, their defense, Asia O'Neal, Molly Phillips.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, so same question right back at you. Which one are you going to go watch?
Well, it's my job to watch them all. So I'll be doing that. Really nice job by Cortland Henderson again. I just have a feeling, that Oregon-Louisville could be really special. Oregon is very, very, very good.
Agreed.
And it's not just Collier and Nunaviller.
Tell you what, I've got a lot of respect for this response from Houston here in the third set. As we sit at 9-9, you know, they had the big lead in set 1, let it slip away, and you just felt like maybe the moment got too big. Stanford dominates set 2. But how about this response from the Cardiac Cougs?
Well, it says a lot about the quality of this program that Coach Rare has built. But you know what got too big? Stanford. And looking for that sharp angle. See, that's the size and the physicality and the athleticism of Stanford. A good idea by Abby Jackson, but it almost takes perfect execution.
And they had near perfect execution early in that first set. She knows exactly what she wants there. That's a beautiful idea. As you said, just hard to execute.
San Diego waiting in the wings. Ogilvy, one hand stab, and Stanford's in system. Amazing play by the libero, number 9 in the Cardinal jersey.
Making difficult plays look easy. You know, that is the key to an elite level libero. It's not always the one who's on the floor the most, although she's on the floor right there to make that play, but she's so in control of what she's doing.
I'm going to go back to Oregon just in a moment after this play. Houston's got to have it. Good block deflection. Rare opportunity out of the back row. What a block touch. Great hustle by Vicini, number 14.
Here's that block touch you mentioned from Vicini. Doesn't give up on it, and it's that touch that allows Stanford to transition. And who's heating up in set 3? Elia Rubin getting better as this one goes on.
Look out. Houston needs a timeout. Yeah, you got to have it. Got to try to settle things down just a little bit. Stanford one set away from getting back to very familiar territory. Women's college basketball doubleheader we've got coming your way on Sunday afternoon. It's Louisville versus Kentucky in our first matchup at 1 Eastern time on ESPN. Then at 3 over on ABC, number 6 UConn faces Diamond Miller, and number 20 Maryland. Should be another great afternoon of college basketball. Back with Missy Whittemore, I'm Paul Sunderland. San Diego has advanced 3-0 over Kentucky, co-champions. That ball waterfalls down inside. Nice play by Cortland Henderson. Once again, Stanford, remember all the way back if you're just joining us, and I'm not making a mistake, although I probably made several, trailed 20-12. Then they went on a 39-19 run and took control of this match. Nice read by Rubin. Set up by Kendall Kipp off the top of the block.
Elia Rubin, Katie Baird, Kendall Kipp, all 3 pins now with double-digit kills for Stanford.
After this point, want to go back to Oregon and the Louisville matchup. Louisville, a very controlled, kind of their style win over Baylor earlier today at home at the Yum Center. Must have for Houston. Not gonna have, says the Stanford block. Rubin along with Francis. 15-10 is the lead.
Rubin does not play like a freshman. She is good at every skill. Blocks balls, hit balls.
There was a freshman group here a few years ago that won a national championship. 4 freshmen starting.
She plays like those freshmen.
Yeah, there you go. Jenna Gray, Catherine Plummer, Morgan Hentz, Adriana Fitzpatrick, among others. 16-10. 7-1 run for Kevin Hambley. Now in his 6th year on the farm. Absolutely perfect location by Cammie Minor.
That swing right in front of us, and I'm just shaking my head. I mean, that is an elite swing from Kendall Kipp, but as you alluded to, it's because the ball is always in the right place.
You know, I'm looking at the box score from Oregon and Nebraska. We talked about Collier with 26 kills. Brooke Nuneviller had a double-double, but Morgan Lewis and Carson Bacon, they combined for 20 kills. That was a huge plus for the Ducks that got the, look at the dig by Ogilvie. Wonderful hustle. Both teams giving it all they've got. Rashana Brown chasing that down into the seats.
Ogilvie's control with one arm is astounding. The number of balls that she has hit with one arm that have been played up perfectly into the center of the court.
Stanford is much taller, much longer, but they're also much better at the defensive end. 43 digs thanks to Ogilvie to only 29 for Houston. sky dink by Kip.
Giving Houston a little of their own medicine. That was what worked for the Cougars early in this match. Dropping balls in the middle of the court, and Kendall Kipp says, I can do that too.
There's Adriana Fitzmaurice, not Fitzpatrick. I apologize. It's been a while ago. Kendall Kipp now leading all attackers with 19 kills on 36 swings. Rubin in double figures along with Baird.
And those 19 kills for Kendall Kipp come with a hitting efficiency of .472.
And she's taken all the tough swings.
Right.
A rare miscue out of the middle between Minor and Francis. Working to get off some of the rust. As a reminder, if you're just joining us, Sammy Francis, this is her first action. Her first practice was yesterday since October 23rd. Kevin Hambly tell us she was lifting a little, riding the bike a little, and that was it. Wow. Elia Rubin.
Thanks to Cami Minor, who again has her outsides in a one-on-one situation. Perfect first contact, beautiful second contact, and offense comes easy.
It's 20-12 again. Once for Houston, and then since then it's been all Stanford. That's a heavy arm. Abby Jackson registers the kill, number 24 in black for Houston, and she'll go back to serve. Jackson now with 6 kills on 23 swings.
Jackson happens to have 56. That's a huge number. 56 aces on the season. So if there's anybody who can get it going from the service line, it's her.
Shank pass, tapped down.
And it may not be an ace, but it's about as close as you're going to get.
Well, speaking of a volleyball ace or aces, Marv Dunphy on the right, 3-time Olympic champion, Karch Kirai on the left. Karch and I had a chance to go to dinner together last night. Oh, what a nice block. And as we were leaving, the bartender says to me, you guys are from LA, are you USC or UCLA fans? And I said, well, the gentleman that just left is in the UCLA Hall of Fame, Athletic Hall of Fame, and a 3-time Olympic gold medalist. The lady down the bar screamed out, oh my God, is that Karch Kirai? And Karch was already sort of out at the restaurant entrance, and I walked down to the lady and I said, would you like to meet Karch? Very approachable. And she said, no, I can't do it. I can't do it. But that was really him? I said, yeah.
But aren't you right? So approachable, one of the most humble people you will ever meet.
And Karch has got his game face on. He's working.
Yeah.
He's looking at Kendall Kipp. He's looking at Cami Minor. He's looking at Ogilvy. Really good swing. High quality swing by Toit.
Toit, another one of those American all-conference selections. And you're seeing why. This is a team in the 6-2 that really has offense from antenna to antenna in all 6 rotations. And you can see why they've given teams fits all season long.
It is such a magnificent swing. Katie Baird at 6'3" is so good at extending and hitting over the top of the block, and the ball from Cami Minor is in the window so perfectly. Cami Minor's father, Harold, an absolutely spectacular basketball player at USC and then on into the NBA. He was the Sports Illustrated College Player of the Year. I must have done 20 of his matches when he was playing for the Trojans and in the NBA. One of the best one-on-one players you're ever going to see at the college level, sort of James Harden before James Harden. Stanford 2 points away.
This is an interesting rotation for Stanford. When Velarde comes in to serve, Coach Hambly actually substitute Bevan in for Kendall Kipp for her to play left to back.
1 point away.
Velarde's been very good from the service line.
Good pass by Jackson. Velarde again, good call, Missy. Houston not going quietly. A couple of brilliant digs by Abby Jackson, 24 in black, playing in the center back in area 6. Match point number 2. Stanford's hitting .385 after starting at .083.
But Houston 273 this set.
Stanford is moving on to the regional final, where they will face the red-hot and I would say equally physical and technically sound Toreros of San Diego. Kendall Kipp leads the way with 19 kills. And what a year for the Houston Cougars. Back in the tournament for the first time since 2000. Won 2 5-set matches last week in Omaha and had a tremendous start and game plan, but just Stanford is too big, too athletic, and too sound in all phases of the game. And Elena Ogilvie and Cami Minor were just a tremendous combination.
Love the fact that Houston came out and gave them all they can handle, and love the fact even more that in set 3 they didn't go away. Came out at the beginning of set 3 and really did all they could to match Stanford point for point. But much like the first match we saw, it's the physicality of Stanford combined with the ball control and the speed that you see that make them an elite opponent.
Rapt attention and knowing much more work to do, let's take a look at this side of the bracket. We started with 64, then it was 16, and now it is down to 8. Texas and Ohio State, 6 Eastern time. So glad for the day off. Really a good move for the athletes and fans. Stanford will take on San Diego. San Diego setting records where they have never been to a regional final. Wisconsin and Pitt, Louisville and Oregon round out the final 8 for a shot to go to the national semifinals in Omaha. Missy, your final thoughts?
The physicality of San Diego and Stanford combined with the libero and setting play that we're going to get, there is no place I'd rather be than right here at this one on Saturday.
You know, I'm not a fan of the day off anymore. I want it to be tomorrow. I don't want to wait anymore, but good for the athletes. Good for Cami Minor, Kendall Kipp, at all. Stanford advances 3 sets to none over Houston. They will take on the Toreros of San Diego, 10 Eastern time on Saturday.